This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so when texts come in, the end user, the person, the consumer or the client, is texting their zip code to the number 898-211. And so when they text a zip code in your service area, which you've already given us, thank you. You know your service area. We can look at those when we log in, look at the active zip code so you can review that. When it's a zip code in your service area, of course, that's going to come to you and it'll be routed to you. Now, let's say it's a zip code in California, right? Then it's going to go to the 211 responsible for that zip code in California, or the state of Washington, or New York, or depending on where you are and your 211, you're responsible for a catchment area or a group of zip codes. And so if I'm a consumer and I'm traveling around the country, right, and I have my phone with me, and when I come to each town, the first thing I do is text 211 and text the local zip code there, whatever it is. Well, then I'm going to get in touch with the local 211 for that zip code. So I could be in another part of the country and text a zip code for my grandmother because I know I need to find her some housing. And I could text her zip code to 898-211, and I would get help from the 211 responsible for her zip code. And so I would text my local zip code for help with my needs, but my mother's needs, who lives all the way across the country, I'm going to text her zip code. So that's how routing works, and that's how you can market it as well, right? We offer support in that regard as well. Over the years, 211s have designed and built a number of materials, right? And posters, takeaway cards, banners, web banners. All those things have been developed for you to have a look at. You're welcome to scroll through and see if anything resonates with you guys. You'll see a theme throughout a lot of these. Text your zip code. Text your zip code, right? Text your zip code. And then there's some newer ones that we've added recently that might be more consistent with the some of the disasters that we've all experienced recently. And I think we're all in agreement that this COVID thing kind of turned into a disaster in its own right. And so we're the messaging can sometimes needs to change a little bit, maybe be a little softer or a little more sensitive to the idea that people might be dealing with things that are making them feel alone or alienated. So stuff like that. And all of this is open source, right? This is all, completely open source. You can even say, hey, I like the image from that one with the hands texting, but I don't want to use that text. And so you just request the high resolution image and whatever else you want, and you can put together your own marketing, materials. So lots of flexibility with this too. It's really open for you to choose to use as you need it or would like to use it. Why this won't show there. Okay. So trying the materials that we've developed over the years are an attempt to address the various demographics that text. But interesting about that is demographics have changed drastically over the last couple of years. It's gone from a primarily youthful endeavor to seniors texting at high volumes. Amazingly so. No one would have ever thought, maybe 5 years ago or 10 years ago, that seniors would be the fastest growing population of text users, according to Pew Research today. It's just fascinating, and out of need to communicate with their children, but also need to communicate with services. And a lot of services use text nowadays, right? Your health services text you information about your prescription or about your appointment. Social services like you guys might text them about anything, right? Any of the resources that they might need or need to access or are seeking. And so what your approach would be is a dialogue that would arrive at a resource, and then that resource could be texted to that individual. But the consumer, their age range has evolved rapidly and is now encompasses everybody, not just 5 or 10 years ago it was young people, Gen X and millennials.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the texters. Today it's everybody. Not a single person is left out of that one. And so when you think about your reach, well, your reach is everyone. It's not just a certain cohort of people. Of course, you're going to have the anomalous one who doesn't understand text and isn't able to open it on their phone and wouldn't know how to do that, right? And occasionally you encounter those people. And by all means, they should have a phone call. But the vast majority of people today are texting and know how, and maybe would make it their first choice. And you have to make a decision about how you're going to provide the help and use the text in a way that's going to get the job done, right? Because you're used to having phone calls. So how do you take a phone call and turn it into a text conversation? And that's what we're going to talk about today. In addition to sample materials, there are sample content like opt-in messages, right? The opt-in messages are the greetings that people get when they text you. So there's automated messages that go out the moment they text their zip code. So you don't have to do anything, right? They text their zip code, it routes to you, and then end user gets a greeting. Something like, this is 211. Thank you for texting 211. Or, please tell us your age and gender and how we can help you today, right? There might be a few key elements about them that you would like to have before you start texting with them, which is fine. Most people are willing to share that information because they know that it's the key to getting help, right? So they're willing to begin a text with that information. So be thinking about how best you want to greet people and what information you want to take on board prior to having the conversation, because that's what this opt-in message is all about. Right now, when somebody texts a zip code in your service area, they get live help is not available at this time, but it's coming soon. In the meantime, call 211 or visit our website, right? And so they're getting a bounce back message that says, live help is coming. When you guys are ready, we're going to switch out those messages with something like this. There's also in the 211 folder sample canned messages. And canned messages are the messages you use during conversation. So what makes for a good, easy INR text conversation? Good canned phrases. Because canned phrases are going to decrease the amount of hand typing you're having to do. And some people are really good at typing, doesn't bother them. They can type like the wind all day long, right? Other people, ouch, I got a bit of carpal tunnel. Typing bothers me. I would like to limit the amount of typing I do. So canned phrases become a wonderful tool, you see, because you can select, instead of saying, how can I help you today, and text and typing that out, you're just selecting it from a list of text to choose from. And you can have your text, your canned phrases, divided up in groups. Like these are intros. These are the ones we open up the conversation with. These are samples that we use for during the text conversation. And then here's some sample text that we use to close out the conversation. You can also have canned phrases that you use for particular issues, right? Particular times of the year. Maybe you do appointments and things like that for tax season. Turning on canned phrases for tax season is great, but after tax season, get them out of here. We don't need them. They're going to dirty up our list of canned phrases because we only use them for those 2-3 months out of the year, and then the rest of the year, turn them off, right? So you can have canned phrases that you deactivate or reactivate depending on their need. You can also have personal canned phrases. These are the ones I like to use, right? I don't bother with those. These ones are mine. This is how I roll, right? This is my select group of canned phrases, and this helps me. I get my job done, and I don't need any other, support. Don't need those other canned phrases. So, your canned phrases become something of a personal thing at some point. Because let's say you don't choose to use personal canned phrases. Let's say you use general canned phrases that we're all going to sort of contribute to, right? That's fine too. But everybody has a role to play in that. That canned phrase seems like we use it hardly at all. We should turn it off. Or, I keep typing this one thing over and over again. It sure would make for a nice canned phrase. Yep, I agree. I type that all the time. Let's add it. So you see, you can work together and make for a better canned phrase library. It's what it becomes. And as you can imagine, if you don't tend to it, what happens to a garden that you don't tend to, right? It becomes unruly and overtaken by and infested, right, by all kinds of things, critters and weeds and everything else, right? The same thing with your system. If you don't tend to your canned phrases, well, then it's just going to become this sort of mess over time. And so it's important that you keep track of what's there and you keep it fresh. And if things aren't working, that you revisit it and make sure that you prioritize, reprioritize, and tend to them. There's other resources in this 211 folder, like a user guide, and it walks you through all the things that we're talking about today. Just takes you through everything, start to finish. Here's how you log in. Here's how you open a conversation. Here's how you close the conversation when you're done. Here's how, on and on and on. So that it's 19 pages long. And if you do well with the user guide, then this is your ticket. This is your item, right? Because user guide, if that's the kind of learner you are, then you'll read through this, you'll understand how to use the software, and you'll jump right on and start using it. That's the kind of guy it is. So it's up to you. They are all of these things are here for you to scroll through, look at, and make some choices about. If you've got a program you're thinking about, and you're thinking about, ooh, gee, it might be good to have a text aspect to this program. Well, we've got model programs, right? Model programs that are descriptions of how you can take, say, a Help Me Grow program and turn it into a texting program. So lots of examples or sample programs that you can visit as well. We're going to train you guys up on INR, but with every 211, there's usually something in that, going on in terms of a specialized program that you got funded to do that you're, not quite sure about how you're going to handle with texting. Well, have a look at the model programs, because that might help you out in deciding what to do with that. Then when we're all good and happy about the system and the launch date and everything like that, you log in to the system. So you get a login credential. We were talking about that at the beginning. That's the gateway to the software. So as soon as you activate your profile, you can enter your email address and your password. Got to go to the production website, save this location. It's in the, I'll send it in the chat box, but it's in the user guide and the production URL. And so and you can just bookmark it, right? So when you log in, you come to the users page, right? The page with the inbox. The inbox shows you the clients that have texted you. And you've got 103 pages of text. Now, this is with no marketing. Zero marketing. You've done no marketing. So this is just by virtue of people being aware that they can text 898-211 for help. It's just, and so you say, well, how do they know to text their zip code? Well, people move. And if they were texting their zip code in somewhere else and they came your way, they think they can text their zip code in your area too and get help. So it's not unusual. It's also not unusual for somebody to search up 211 and maybe not get to your 211 website, get to another 211 website and see that 211 is saying, hey, you can text your zip code for live support. And so they try it out. And so that's why you've got people who are in your queue, even though you haven't done any advertising. And as you can see, these people all got this temporary greeting, right? That thanks for texting United Way, CSRA 211 for help now, call or visit, right? So they're not want of help. They texted, they didn't get help by texting, so they're being told to call. Very simple. So nobody's you're not out of step. Nobody's being told anything that they shouldn't be told, and nor do they have unreasonable expectations. Right? We can literally pass on all of these cases because you're not live and you've told them that they need to call you. Okay, so when somebody texts their zip code to 898-211, what's going to happen is they're going to come to the top of the queue. So right now, the top of the queue is the 706, right? I've been passing on some of these cases. When I text a zip code, which I will in a moment, my case is going to pop to the top of the queue, and we'll watch it and see it come in when that happens. When I click on, before we do that, when I click on the phone number, that's the phone number that I'm looking at, right? So I'm looking at these are all the phone numbers that I can look at. This is the phone number that I am looking at, and it's in green. Okay? And so it matches over here. So the moment I click on one of these phone numbers, it comes here into view. And so I can scroll through these cases, right? And then this will change each time I select the next case, right? And then the one I'm viewing also shows me the characteristics that are tied to each case. So over here are the user attributes and the note section and the data markers. Data markers are things that get populated that tell us more about this phone number. And notes are the same thing. Just like when you're, making a note about a call. This would be a note about a text conversation that you had. Same need. You still need to make notes, even though it's texting. So this isn't your text box. Don't mistake it. Sometimes people think, oh, this is my text. I'm going to send a text to this person. Nope, this is your notes box. Your text box comes when you click the open button. And that brings you up with the text box. If I want to hide this right here, the attributes, I can bring notes front and center. Data markers, surveys and series, I can actually launch a survey right out of this box here. I can also send messages, future content to this person, a reminder about an appointment, anything I want, a future text. Then in attributes section, I can also assign roles here. I can edit the profile, put a name in here. I can assign the roles like a responder role or case manager role from here. 211 sometimes use the case manager role for a higher level evaluation. Like, I help this person, but I'd like the administrator to have a look. So I'm going to assign that case manager role to that administrator so that that person can quickly sort and find the cases that were assigned to them. So let's opt in. So I'm going to text the first zip code I see, 30815, and I'm going to send that to 898211. So let me go ahead and do that. 30. So there you go. My phone number came to the top of the queue. If I click on it, that's the 831 number. I can see that zip code was texted. If we scroll over it, the timestamp, it tells us the number, the phone number, the source SMS, because we know it came from a mobile phone. This is the text that got delivered, right? We know because it has a delivery receipt on it, acknowledged. It's a carrier acknowledging it, and then delivered. It's a carrier saying that they delivered the message. And then if I want to have a conversation with this client, I just click open. And then now I've got the text box. But I don't have any canned phrases. So let me show you what that looks like. Let me pop over there. So if I go to admin, and I go canned responses, and I go new, and I go, hi, my name is, so I'm just going to say, hi. Oh, okay. Okay, and so we'll call this intros. So you can quickly add text, like you could say, another greeting might be, you might not get to them right away, right? Maybe you're on the phone with somebody. I can save that as an intro. Right? And then I can go, okay, now I want to do in progress. One moment while I check the database. In progress. I mean, there's so many different in progresses that you can think of. Let's end with closures. There. So now, when I go back over to the users tab, and I'm going to change the order of these and phrases. Put this at the bottom and put my intros at the top. There we go. Now I've got my intro showing up at the beginning. Wonderful. And now look what I've got. I've got that canned phrase that I can, so no typing. I can just canned phrase it. Same thing, guys. Delivery receipt. It goes out. You see it. You see it in real time. It just is grayed out for a moment, and then it updates, and it very rapid. Like you probably heard my phone go off the moment I texted it. So it's very quick. Sometimes there's a latency. You just never know. I mean, the carrier, we're working with the carriers, and so sometimes, it might be that they're far away from a tower, and it takes extra long for that message to get through the place it needs to go in order to get back to the main, gateway or whatever, right? And it's just harder. It's slightly longer wait times to deliver those texts. If the person has, good cell reception, no issues with texting, they're not traveling around their car, going through tunnels, right? Or texting from a basement or something like that, right? Then flawless. They won't have any issues. The further away you get from civilization, the the harder it's going to be to text, right? It's going to be more difficult. So when this person texts back, I need food, A lot of people need food right now. Lots. You know that that person now needs food. You know the zip code they're from, and you know that they need food, right? You know those two things. That might be sufficient. Maybe you need a few more, is this a food bank? Or is this a food bank need or a soup kitchen need? There might be a question like that you add to your canned phrases. You can bounce into your canned phrases right there too. So let me see in progress. Are you seeking help finding groceries? Food bank? Or prepared meals? I don't know if you've got Meals on Wheels where you guys are. That's something that they do for seniors around here. So now I've got that extra message that I can go to. I can go to my in progress, right? And I can say, are you seeking help finding groceries or food bank? Tink. You like the sound effect? Tink. Okay. So, my kid is great at sound effects. He sounds just like the phone. It drives me crazy. He'll be somewhere in the house and he'll make that sound and then he'll be like, where's my phone? You have my phone? Connor, you? Okay. So, are you seeking help finding groceries food bank? So we hear back from them and they say, food bank. 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 I heard you have information. Okay. So I'm going to send that. And then, so now we've got, not only do we know that their zip code is that, we also know that their need is that, and we know that their need is further drilled down to a food bank. So that might be enough information to then go, hold on one moment while I check our database. Now, mind you, I have not touched my keyboard. I haven't touched it. This has all been driven only when I was typing those canned phrases. But so all this entire conversation has been selections of canned phrases. So, food bank. I'm going to check the database. So now what it is what database do you have?
We have ReferNet.
Have you given them your relay code?
I sent them the link you all told me to. I don't know what came of that, but I sent it.
You sent it to them?
Yes, I did.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, as soon as you send them, and you said you did, so no worries there. As soon as you do that, Juanita, you can text referrals out of ReferNet.
Okay.
Juanita.
It's JUA.
You didn't get any response from them?
No. I'll double check
No
that.
response.
No. Let me double check. I don't want to tell a fib because it was a while ago, but hold on. Let me see here. I sent the relay code, and no, I did not get a response from David about it.
When did you send that?
I sent it on April 27th.
Okay. Okay. Well, I would double down on that because it's important that get done. Because right now you can't send referrals out of your database without that.
Okay.
And that's what you would be doing at this point. Because if you don't do that, then what you're doing is copying and pasting the referral into this box.
No, we don't want to do that. And how would we know?
And you don't want.
What would we do?
Because in ReferNet you would be able to see, can I text this? You would have the option to text a resource, and then you would just select that resource, and then I think they ask you to put the mobile number in, and so you would just take the mobile number and put it into that whatever form they say, and then click send, and then that referral would go directly out of ReferNet in the way that you want it, and you would actually see it go to the back of or to the top of this conversation.
Mm-hmm. So we would still be working with ReferNet.
You would be in ReferNet.
Yeah.
When you did, yes. Yeah. So it follows along with how you're going to be working in ReferNet anyway, right? Because you're going to be creating a record for this person probably. And so you just need to get with them and make sure, because I can't train you on that. I don't know what it's going to look like or how. I just know it works. I just know it works, and it works with our system. Okay?
Okay, I just sent him a message again to see if that got lost in translation.
Okay. So to give you an idea of what that's going to look like, I'm going to mimic it. 831-332-0296. So I'm going to send my phone number a referral. So this is a sample referral, and then we'll stick a website in here just for fun. And so, is this a referral? Yes. And so when I do this, guys, I'm actually mimicking the referral tool. So, you can use this with callers if you wanted to. You could go to the referrals tab and send as many callers as you want, as much information as you want, whenever you want. This referrals tab is available for you. Sometimes, when you're on the phone with somebody, you need to send them snippets of a referral. You don't necessarily need to send them the whole referral. So it might be useful to be able to be on a tab like this and just put the phone number in, put the information in that you need to text them, and send it. So this is always available to you to do that. If you're ever in a pinch, you closed out a record, it's no longer possible. You'd have to open up or recreate the record somehow or something like that, or you're just locked out of that record. You don't want to send the referral through through ReferNet. You can always hop over to the referrals tab, or if you're in text conversation, just copy and paste that referral into the text box and send it. So you always can get the information to the end user. It's just a little bit different way that you're going to be doing it. You can also, on this tab, comma separate phone numbers. So as you can imagine, you could send 50 people a text all at one time, telling them, here's the referral that I told you we would send you, right? If you get a call for, one of your partners does a big marketing thing and you get 100 calls all at once, you could be answering those calls and saying, yep, I'll send you the referral. Just give me your mobile number. I'll send you the referral. And writing all those mobile numbers down or putting them all into a spreadsheet and then upload your spreadsheet, send them the referral, done, right? You're done. And what would have taken hours and hours and hours took 30 minutes or less, right? So please be mindful that this referrals tab, it's called referrals because that's what it is. It's sending out information, resources, anything that you want pretty much to a phone number of your choosing. It's a sender tool, right? And what happens is it winds up mimicking what we're doing when we send a referral out of ReferNet. ReferNet is using this same opt-in relay code to send referrals through us. And so when I click send, message sent to one client, I go back here to the users tab, and then there it is on my phone number, 831. And when I scroll over here, see how it says app referral, the source? That means that the application was used to send that content. If it comes from ReferNet, we will see this same thing, light blue, UW CS, CSRA referral. It will be, when we scroll over though the timestamp, it'll say source partner. Okay?
So what I'm trying to figure out for myself for training purposes, if we were to have been fully integrated with ReferNet, there would have been something we could have just clicked on, or
say that again.
Okay, to get the referrals, you're saying for us to be able to send referrals from here, directly from ReferNet, versus having to put it in ourselves. What would have come?
Rather than putting it in yourself. That's right.
But how?
That's why we're activating them in ReferNet.
Okay.
That's why I asked you to send that relay code to them. Okay?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does that make sense, Juanita?
Yes.
Okay. That's why. It's because we want you to be able to send referrals out of ReferNet. Right? And the only way we know how to do that is to give them a relay code. And then they activate it. And then you say, okay, ReferNet, now tell me, how do I send a referral to a phone number? And they'll show you. And when you send that referral out of ReferNet, it will use 898211. It'll be in your queue. Even if it's a caller, we'll log it, we'll put it in the queue, and you can make sure that you can go and, yep, there's that phone number, there's that person that I was calling and I was talking with on the phone. There's their mobile number, and there's the referral delivered, right? So you can always check the system in PreventionPays to make sure what you send out of ReferNet is in fact getting delivered. That's one of the reasons we provide integrated referrals to CRMs, right? It's because we can give them delivery receipts. They were using services before that didn't give them delivery receipts, so people weren't getting texts, and people were calling them up and saying, how come I don't have my text message? Well, now there's delivery receipts. So when you send texts out of ReferNet, you always can know exactly what happened with those texts and confirm that they were all delivered. Okay. And so my training never goes there though, Juanito. I don't log into ReferNet. We don't do that. That's not part of the training that we cover. You're always going to have to consult with ReferNet to address the integration that we have with them.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Because that's not our service. We are PreventionPays techs. We partnered with them so that our systems can communicate, but we don't cross train. I don't train people on their system. They don't train people on our system. Okay. Now, another thing I want you guys to know about is I can open up concurrent cases, which is marvelous capacity. I can open up 1, 2, 3, 4 cases. As you can see, they just spread across my page, right? Kind of like an accordion. This is my slate, my work slate. This is the one I'm texting with. These are the ones I'm observing. I need to text with 831, so I pick it. Now I'm texting with 831, right? See? So then now, and I want to text with 706. I would just click the 706 or the 706-399. I would click that. So you can toggle between your cases. Another thing about concurrent cases, guys, is that even in the background, they update. So when I say okay, right, we're going to see that update live. There it is. Okay. Right? So I can still watch and see and follow along with the conversation as it comes through and then select it to then do something with it. Okay? Okay, I'm going to close our conversation now. They said okay, so I don't need to have any further conversation with this person. I'm going to close it out. Close. And then that case archives. Okay? So then when I look at my cases, I just have those 3 706s that I opened up. As I close them out, I have no cases anymore. Go back to all to collect or assign myself or take new cases, should there be any. So you can respond to cases concurrently. You can send messages to concurrent cases. Like, for instance, let's say we're experiencing a high volume situation where we recently added text to our IVR. And while people are on hold, they're being told that they can text their zip code for live help. Well, we got a burst in calls, and a lot of people were on hold, and a lot of people were told that they could text their zip code. So lo and behold, our system is lighting up with requests, all wanting help. Again, 15, 20, 30, 40. What do I do? Right? You can open up the cases. Here's one way. Open them up. Open them up. Open, 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 open. You can open as many as you want, and then you can group text them. Cases I own, 10. So let's say it's 10 people that all hit us at once. I can group text those 10 people and say, hey, we're busy right now, but I'm going to get to you as soon as we can. So you're keeping them in the know. You're keeping them up on what's happening, right? And so they don't have any questions. They know that you're going to get to them. You set their expectations properly, and then you work through those cases and have dialogue with them until you wind them down. And then as you wind down those 10 cases, you close them out, right? So as I have conversation with this, I might send an intro to this guy, and this guy, and then this guy, and then maybe that's it. The first 3 in my list of 10 that I took, I send an intro to. I complete those 3, and then I close them out, right? So that once I'm done with those conversations, they're no longer part of that 10 that I opened up and group texted. It's now down to 7. Then I send greetings to 3 more. Okay? So it's not difficult to manage multiple people. It's just not. It's not a hard thing. And in most cases, you're not going to be experiencing that, right? You're going to be experiencing onesies and twosies and things like that. But it's good to know that in an extreme situation, you can handle it. Everyone can be helped, which is unusual. I mean, that's not, normal for 211 to think that way, right? I mean, if you guys get a burst in calls and you don't get to all those calls, then that's a blemish, right? That's kind of a blemish on your record. With text, you don't need to blow people off. You can respond to everybody. It might be a later time that you respond to everybody, but you respond to them. So text kind of opens up kind of a new way of looking at how you support people. Also, text allows for that kind of leeway. People understand that it might take a little longer to get back to me. Text is different than instant message. Instant message, you're right there. Where are you? You're not here. I'm disconnecting. Text is, I send a text and you might text me back tomorrow. I'm cool. Right? It's a little more relaxed, not as intense about the moment. It doesn't require immediate reaction. So be aware of that. With text, you're not dealing with that immediate instant gratification. Every once in a while you get a person that is like, come on, answer my question, right? What you got to do is say, chill, right? This is text. We're going to help you out. Don't worry. We'll get you. So
maybe get into this. I'm sorry.
Just be mindful of that. Yes?
Okay, so number one reason we got the text messages is that we want to be able to have the after hours component where it's text on demand. So are we going to get to that part of the training, or is that just the ReferNet thing?
What is your after hours message?
I don't know right now.
Okay.
It's new. Right now, after hours, we have Atlanta who answers our call. But in August, we won't have that. So after 5 o'clock,
Okay.
we'll set up a message that says to text us with your needs. And then would they be able to do the text on demand to find a food pantry or shelter if they text the keyword?
Oh, you wanted to do like what Atlanta does?
Yes.
Okay. Did you clear that with Tom
Right.
when you set up your contract?
I was certain that's where I said as far as the services. Is that an additional cost?
I need to check on that because what we provide in your INR package is live help. It's not, 211 on demand is a different product. It's a different set of services.
Mm. Okay. Well, I'll just have to look into my contract then because I was most certain that that was in my initial conversation of what I need for it.
Okay, just a second here.
We have until August to resolve that. I don't want us to go on a spiral. I thought I'd ask.
Because that's not really something we even train on. That's just behind the scenes, Juanita.
Okay.
I mean, that's like, we don't have anything we train about that. That's not even there's no staff involved with that.
Right. I guess I was just asking to make sure, but I'll double check our contract with that and then I'll talk to Tom.
But I mean, like, do you understand? Like, that has nothing to do with how you're going to provide live help.
Yes, I get it. That doesn't have anything to do with it. I was just wondering.
Okay. Well, today's meeting is about live help. Juanita. Daniel. Okay, I'm going to send a message to Tom. So you guys just want to use that. You don't want to use live help.
Yes, we want all of the above. We want live help, but we also wanted the component of the on demand. So I was just asking.
Okay, so are you guys going to hold hours of operation?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, are you going to be available for certain hours during the day?
Yes, we're going to be available for live text 8:30 to
5. Okay, and then after 5, you want on demand to kick in.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, you would just need to you would have had to have specified that in your contract discussions and then the contract.
Yeah, I was certain.
So that we know.
With that conversation.
So that we know that we have to address that as part of your system setup.
Mm-hmm.
Just a second here. Juanita. Do you use a signature in your? It doesn't look like it. You don't have like an address or anything, or in your signature. You just.
I do. Let me go into my email.
like in your email, it looks like you don't have any kind of an address, like a physical address or anything listed there, a signature line?
I do. That's what I do.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Oh,
Okay, I just sent Tom a request to look into that, okay?
thank you.
All right. So, okay, guys, so that is the conversational texting. You know how to use the referrals tab. You know how to use conversational texting. Groups you can use as well. You can build whatever groups you want and send them content. So I'm showing you the groups tab. This is an additional tab where you can type a message and send to, like I said, cases that you open up and own as a group text. But you can also go to show and build a group of clients. So if you know that the top 5 or whatever you want to text, you could pick those 5, add them to your group, and call it my group, and then save it. And then now you've got a group of 4 to send content to. So very easy to send to multiple phone numbers content as well. Groups tab is designed to kind of help you be able to help more people at once. 2-in-1s are always kind of, we need to call this many people back. We have a list of phone numbers. Well, now they're starting to use text to do that text back or call back. And so, putting a list of phone numbers into the system to text back based on a phone call is very common. And it might be that you're, grouping people together to text them at a later time, or it's that you're grouping them together to text them today. But just like your phone, when you can group people together and send them a group text, so too can you group text with this system. The difference is on your phone, when they reply to the group text, everybody sees their replies, whereas with this, only you see their reply. So, any questions about the live help piece? Because I don't want to go away from this meeting without everybody understanding how that works. That somebody texts their zip code, you open up the case, you send a greeting, you have a conversation, you figure out what resource, you send that resource out of ReferNet. You close the case. Is there any question about that?
No, I think that's clear.
Okay. Any questions outside of any of that?
That toolkit that you showed in the beginning, we'll get access to that as well, with the canned messages and all of that. And I'll be able to set that up.
Yeah, the canned phrases.
Mm-hmm.
That 211 folder. Sure. Yep, the 211 folder. That's in the dialog box as well. I'll send you that link.
Okay.
Do you see it there?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions?
I think they're good.
Good. Okay. All right. And then make sure to check over your zip codes just to make sure that we got them all right. And those are your current zip codes. You can go to Home and Info, Home tab, Info, and that tells you all your active zip codes.
Okay.
And then when you're ready to go live, you're going to tell us this is the live help message we want to use.
Okay.
Opt-in message. You're also going to tell us this is the after hours message we want to use. But in the after hours message, when it's ready, we're going to point to the on demand. So, come 5 o'clock or whatever, that end of day for you, will kick the on demand, and people will be able to text. They'll get it when they text their zip code. They'll get an auto response that tells them live help isn't available till tomorrow at this time. However, you can text this, or you can visit our website.
Okay.
And we would give them a keyword they can text to start that on demand. Okay?
Okay. All right. So homework for me is sending when we want to go live and the message we want to use when we do so.
Yeah. Make sure that your referrals, double check your zip codes in our system. Make sure those are good. Check with ReferNet to make sure they've activated your relay code. This little guy right here. And then go to this website here and look at the sample opt-in messages and decide what you guys want to do with your greeting, and then send us the greeting, send us the go live date, and then that's it.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. All right, guys. Thank you for putting up with me.
No, thank you. You have a good one, and I'll be sending that information soon.
Okay, and then I'll be in touch. I'm going to follow up. It just caught me by surprise. I wasn't aware that you guys were interested in the on-demand. So I just know that has to be something that we address up front before we get started.
Right.
Okay?
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye. Take care.